Hi guys, it's Victoria with Meal Prep with the Twins, and today I'm going to be showing you the healthier version of Mongolian beef that I make. So we're going to start by cutting the beef. I used chuck round steak, and as you can see, I'm not using the knife directly down when I am cutting. I am using a 45-degree angle, and I'm cutting against the grain. If you noticed, I pointed out the striations going horizontally against the meat. You want to cut vertically against those horizontal striations so that you can make sure the meat is tender. If you cut it the other way, it's going to be really tough, and that's not the way you want your meat to be whenever you're enjoying it. I'm cutting it into thin strips. Notice that my knife is never vertically down, it's to the side at a 45-degree angle. If you also see on the side, I have some cut up scallions, some red onion strips, some grated garlic, and some minced ginger. I also have some lime. Just laying out the strips of beef on my cutting board so that each individual piece is not lying on top of the other. This is important for the next step. So I'm just going to season the meat lightly with some garlic powder, a little ginger powder. Then I'm getting a 1/4 cup of cornstarch, and I'm lightly dusting that over the meat with my strainer. This is what's going to make the beef really crispy whenever you pan fry it. Flipping it over to do the same thing on the other side. You don't just want to go in with the whole box of cornstarch because cornstarch adds a lot of carbs. And you want to have control over every ingredient you're putting into your meals, especially when you are counting your calories and macros. Just dusting it lightly with the cornstarch on the other side. You want to make sure it's pretty well coated so that you get crispy beef. Now I'm adding some coconut milk and 1 cup of water to a pan on medium-high heat. We're going to bring that to a boil before we add in the jasmine rice, about 1½ cups of jasmine rice. I'm adding 1/4 cup of olive oil to a skillet cast iron is my favorite. And then I'm adding some pieces of beef into the skillet. I'm going to cook it on one side for about 1 minute. Get it nice and crispy on the outside. Adding a little bit of salt to the water, just a little bit. And now I'm flipping over the beef strips. You can see that they're nice and crispy. Just preparing a plate to strain the cooked beef onto. I'm going to put a napkin down to absorb the rest of the grease. You can see I added the rice in while stirring. Then I'm going to put a top over it, and that's going to simmer for about 15 minutes. Turn the heat down. So I'm just removing the pieces of beef, and I have more to cook, so I'm just adding that to the pan. Flipping it again after about a minute or so. It's going to cook a little bit more once we make the sauce. You don't want to cook it too long because you don't want tough steak. Once that's done, I microwave some limes. I like to microwave limes or lemons before I use them to deglaze the pan because you get more juice out of them when they're warm. Now I'm adding in about a half a cup of water. I'm using another half a cup of Bragg's liquid amino soy sauce alternative. It's healthier than just using regular soy sauce. I'm also adding some purple onion, the garlic and ginger into the pan, stirring that around. I go back and add another half cup of water. I just want to make sure there's plenty of sauce. I'm adding coconut sugar, 1/4 of a cup, letting that dissolve and mixing it well. Once the rice is done, I'm just going to remove it from the heat. I'm adding in some ginger powder, garlic powder to the sauce. Don't want to add any salt because the Bragg's is already like a soy sauce. It's salty. I added a half tablespoon of Hoisin sauce. Now I'm adding the beef and mixing that in very well, coating the beef with the sauce. Now I'm just adding some vegetables. It's totally optional, but I just got a bag of vegetables, frozen veggies, um, carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower, breaking it up into bite-sized pieces with my wooden spoon, and just mixing it into the sauce well. That's optional. You don't have to add the veggies, but I like to add more veggies to anything really. Just makes things healthier and more nutrient packed. I'm covering that with sesame seeds. A little bit of the red onion and scallions makes it really pretty and looks delicious. Then I'm just using a fork to fluff the cooked jasmine rice, the coconut rice. And there you have it. Really easy to make, delicious, healthier version of Mongolian beef. Hope you guys enjoy.